This is the Cruise Zone on Radio Now 95.3 FM.
All right, this is the Cruise Zone on Radio Now 95.3 FM, right? And we've gone through two parts of the show. We've gone through the pop culture part of the show where we gave you the best coming from the pop culture world, the latest coming from the pop culture world. And we've just gone through Karaoke Minute where we sang along to Kele Kele Love by Tiwa Savage. It was amazing. And it's on to the next part of the show. And like I said before we went on the break, our guest is in the building, and I'm really, really excited about this.
Yes, of course. We have joining us this evening a man who I think is indubitably the best rapper in Nigeria at the moment.
In the world, bro.
An artist who has been consistently putting out projects for well over a decade now. An artist that has rapped with all your favorites and outclassed them with grace. The cult leader, Iboro Paybac. Welcome to the Cruise Zone.
Paybac, it's great to have you.
Thank you for having me, man. It's good to be here on Good Friday. Come on,
You can't really. Just to sort of jump into it,
Yeah.
Let's start off with the Headies, right?
Yeah.
You've been nominated twice.
Yes, I have.
What are your general thoughts on the award, and how did it feel? You've been in the game for a really, really long time. You've been there for over a decade. I don't know, how does it feel to be acknowledged, by the Headies?
I think it's good. It's one of those. It's not something I ever actually thought about. It's not something I ever actually consciously wanted.
Right.
Consciously visualized all the positive thinking and stuff. It's not something I ever actually thought about. So it was very, very great. The first one was good. It was like validation for all of the years I spent tearing beats apart and stuff. But I really love the second nomination because it shows my growth as a musician, not just a rapper or whatever. So that was it. It felt very good, man. Shout out the Headies, man. I still think they robbed me. They should have given me that stuff. But shout out AQ. But I think I should have won it.
Most artists always feel like
nah. Mine is different. Mine is
okay.
Mine is different, man. All right.
And rapping for like I said, over a decade, dozens of projects. What's the thing that really, really keeps you going, right? Because it's not easy. That's what a lot of people don't realize. When you say, "Oh, he's an artist," and they expect you to be boom, boom, boom every single moment, but you've managed to kind of be there. What keeps you going?
I like it.
You like it or you love it?
I love it, but love is a very weird word.
Why is that?
Because love entails a whole lot of stuff. I guess love entails duty, preparation, care, affect. It entails a whole lot of stuff. But I really like making music. I enjoy it a lot.
But you say these things: duty, responsibility. I guess sacrifice as well.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say that you've given all of these things to the game?
I don't want to say it.
You don't want to say it?
Yeah, it's possible I have, but I don't want to care about
because
it.
if someone has been, let's say you've dropped 12 projects, if not more than.
No.
Yes.
I think it's getting to 10. I don't think it's up to 12 yet. I know it was 7 when I did alternate ending with Boogie. It was 7 or 8 when I did alternate ending with Boogie.
Okay.
So I think it should be like 9 or 10 now.
So 12 projects.
I just said
okay, 10. Let's say 10 projects, right?
Yeah.
That's not a small feat.
It's not.
At all. Yeah.
But I don't feel it.
How? You don't feel the writing, you don't feel the recording,
I don't feel like I've done a lot of projects. I feel like I'm just still. It's like when you give a monkey a beatbox machine, it's going to just keep jamming out stuff. It's not going to think about how many.
But that's an obsession.
It's kind of an obsession.
He kind of said he loved it anyways.
Yeah.
Because he said like and not love.
I rather like something than love something.
Why?
Love is very depressing.
Why is it? What? Love is depressing.
Love is encompassing. If you want to love something or someone, it has to be complete. You have to I can like you and say, man, I don't want to really talk to you today.
Mm-hmm.
But I can love you and not want to talk to you, but still know I have to talk to you because
That's why I'm fascinated by your choice of words, because your work ethic, full disclosure, like I've been in the studio with you. I've seen you record two albums, or an album and an EP back to back. I remember you say alternate ending. When you were working on alternate ending, you were working on Cult and you're working on Flat 14.
I was working on a bunch of. I'm always working on at least 3 projects at the same time.
Why the impulse?
I don't know how to explain it. It's second nature. I make it to function, basically.
I mean,
so again, I'm sorry to press on this. Maybe we'll circle back to it. But how did this second nature develop? Where did it start?
Right.
I think I used to use music to run away from stuff when I was a little kid, family and all that other stuff, which we shall not talk about on air. But I used to use music as a way to run away. So when I discovered that I could recreate that world I used to run to, it was like the greatest.
Okay, so this might be a little bit weird, right?
Yeah.
But I want to ask, right? Because we've been talking for a while now, and you've been avoiding love. Have you ever been in love?
Yeah, I have. I'm currently in love.
You're currently in love.
Yeah.
But are you scared of love?
Yes, I am.
Is there a particular reason?
I don't know what's the word. It almost decapacitates you. Anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm not saying I would rather do without it, but I acknowledge the gravity of what it is. It's like Jesus died. Do you know what it means to die? Like, if I was Jesus, I could just love you guys and be like, all right, man, I hope you guys are good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is very wonderful that we're talking about it on Good Friday. But Jesus literally died. And that's what love really is. Love is really being willing to give up your life for that person. It's like when they say parents love their children, that they sacrifice their lives. It means they literally sacrifice their life. They don't do any other thing except but make sure that the other person is okay. That's what it means to love somebody. That's what I think it means to love somebody.
Okay.
That's pretty deep.
Man, I'm very. Come on, bro. Come
It
on,
is.
bro.
It is. Payback
Come
really
on, bro.
fascinates me, especially the way I told him just before we came on air that he's skillfully evasive.
Right.
So
right.
he's
And he's shown that. He's shown that.
He showed it already.
That's very, very true. That's very true.
Circling back to award shows though.
Yeah.
Do you think that there is an equitable representation of hip hop acts, or because it kind of seems like these awards just focus on guys that have been around, established guys, and kind of give them a pat on the back. I know you know better than anyone. There are a million rappers out there. There are a million talented male and female rappers out there. So do you think that award shows and maybe even media houses are doing enough to showcase hip hop?
I think for a purist, for an aficionado, what's that word? I think that's the word. For a purist of a music lover, it's hard for award shows to do you justice, because award shows from their creation are already kind of compromised already. An award show cannot give an award to somebody that they don't know. So it becomes a competition of who is the best person they know, or who is the most known best person. So when you start to meander and stuff like that, I feel like it's better to just let them give whoever they want to give. Because if you start to attach, nobody should give you an award for making music, man.
So you don't think this award should exist? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying expecting them to do the right thing musically is going to be very hard. Most likely they are going to fall behind by 1 year or 2 years. Because when it's usually really good, they don't usually find it. Because they can't find it. It's not yet theirs to find, if that makes any sense. It's like, who won next rated? I think it's Bad Boy Tim's.
Was it Tim's?
Next rated. I think it was.
I think it was Bad Boy Tim's. I love Bad Boy Tim's, but I believe Bella Shmurda will most likely have a better 5 years than Bad Boy Tim's.
Okay, it was on Malay.
It was Omale. Okay, and that's
I think Bad Boy Tim was rookie. I think
that was rookie.
of
That was
the year.
rookie. What's the difference between rookie and?
Can we
This is
not-
what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. It is. It's almost like this thing. It's like this thing they used to do when we were back in school. The prize giving day. It didn't necessarily mean that was the best student that year. It just means that guy had all of the qualifications to win that prize that year. So that's why I basically feel like award shows should just. You should let them do what they want to do. Like it's like with Grammys, they got Kendrick a year late. They're getting Nas how many years late?
Lunas.
Nas, no, not
No,
Oh, Nas.
Nas.
Oh,
Nas.
okay. Yeah.
Nas.
Okay, but
Big
okay.
Nas.
Do you feel like you're well known?
I feel like
do you think you've earned being known? You've been in the game for a while.
I've earned what?
Being known.
That's a weird question. How do you earn being known? You're just either known or you're not known.
Yeah, but do you think you're known enough?
I think I'm known by more tastemakers than the masses at this point.
And do you think that's what matters?
I think it depends on you. I think personally to me, I'm not going to lie and say I don't want to be Drake. That's a big lie. I want to be Drake. I want to have every single song I have be the #1 song in the whole world. But I think the most important thing for you to do as a human being is to fulfill yourself. It's to find something you find is good and to do that good thing and then move on from it. I think.
So are you saying you don't want okay, yeah, you've already said it's not
Oh,
like you don't
man.
want to be Drake.
I want to be
I get
Drake.
you. I get
Who
you.
wouldn't want to be Drake? Why people lie? Even I promise you, the guy who still raps on Wu-Tang beats somehow hopes that Wu-Tang beat will transform him into Drake type stardom, even though he's going to lie to himself.
Right.
Shout out my old hairs though.
So with hip hop now,
Yeah.
there's a lot of, emphasis on authenticity.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned, but like the hip hop community always, there's backlash towards Drake because he's not real enough.
Yeah.
So how can a hip hop act
Yeah.
maintain that authenticity while trying to appeal to a wider audience?
I think authenticity is a very fickle thing because Rick Ross is one of the best rappers in the last 10 years. But his whole thing is a lie.
The whole thing is a lie.
His whole thing is a lie. But he's one of the best.
Why do you think so?
He never sold drugs now. Everybody, that's common knowledge. Now he was a correctional officer where Rick Ross served the sentence. So he obviously got the guy's life story and created a whole character and became whatever he is.
So because hip hop is storytelling, what's that
It's
fine
art
line
now.
between fiction? Because you can say some fictional things
Yeah.
that people might not necessarily hold you to account for.
I think I think the idea of your art being autobiographical is a very new phenomenon.
New.
Yeah.
But people refer to the golden era as, these guys were real, these guys were
Yeah,
telling their
that's
story.
golden era of hip hop is how many years ago?
So you mean new in music or new in hip hop?
New in human race. Using your art having to be autobiographical is new in human race. Usually you can make a song about anybody. You can just create a song about some lady called Bolanle who lived at, I don't know, Eric Moore Road or something. You can just create a song and sing it. She doesn't have to be a real person. It's hip hop because of I guess because of their oppression and whatever. They had to create an identity and all of that stuff. I believe eventually when the racial tension and all of that stuff that created that house evolved around, I don't know though, actually that's very, very.
But you're
It's
an
hard to
MC
say.
now, so for
Yeah.
you, where does the urge to be autobiographical come, and where does the fantasy in
I
your
don't
writing?
think I would love for people to not care about being autobiographical at all.
No, you personally.
Some part of my music is therapy. That's the part where the autobiographical nature of it comes from.
Okay, we're going to talk about therapy and therapy in music, because I do think you handled it exceptionally well.
Okay.
But we're going to play a song of yours,
Let's
Lagos
go.
Island by Payback and Sean Stan featuring
Hey.
Ria Sean.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
This is the Cruise Zone on Radio Now 95.3 FM. Before you, that's what I like. That's what
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is the Cruise Zone, and that was Payback and Sean Stan, Lagos Island featuring Ria Sean.
Let's go.
Of course, we're still in the interview segment, and we're speaking with Iboro Payback.
Let's go. Payback Iboro.
Before the break, though,
Yeah.
we were talking about music being, an escape and therapy for you.
Yeah.
Going back a couple years, your album, The Biggest Tree,
Yeah.
covered a lot on depression. There were a lot
Yeah.
of themes of depression, reflection.
Yeah.
Do you feel exposed taking the introspective route as an artist?
Like you said, I'm
Skillfully evasive.
skillfully evasive.
Mhm.
I believe I can tell you enough about myself. I still not have you know me. So to me, I actually don't really think about it until after I'm done with the music.
Mhm.
And by that point I don't really, honestly, I try my I try my best not to care about what any other person in the world thinks.
So what was the original concept for Biggest Tree, and when you listened back, how did you refine the album?
That's when I listen back while creating or after creating.
Let's say after.
Okay. The original concept was I was at my grandmother's place in like 2014, I think. And I used to take a lot of walks around her place, and there was this very, like, no matter how far, because I didn't know anywhere around there, but no matter how lost I got, there was one very big tree
Mhm.
which I could always see, and that kind of was like my North Star, which always brought me back home. And so the idea, it's like a layered idea. On some level, it means creating something monumental enough that it can be seen from anywhere. On some level, it's like a totem pole to always constantly bring you back home. So like the idea was like to almost like take like a mountain and carve a cave in between it, like a home for myself, basically.
So the Biggest Tree is kind of like an anchor, a canopy.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
protect.
that's what. Yeah.
Do you think
Um,
people felt that when they listened? You didn't answer how you refined the album, but do you
How
think?
okay? Let me
Yeah.
say, how did I refine it? That's actually an interesting question. How did I refine it? I don't think I refined it. I think a lot of times I feel like the albums they create themselves. I feel like I just put myself in certain mind states and certain soundscapes, and the album just comes together. So I didn't really refine it. Those were just the best songs to portray how I felt at that point in time.
And what was the feedback loop when people told you how the album was
People,
received?
I think way more people deal with mental health issues than we realize. I think because of all the screens in front of us, and because of all the stuff we can put in our bodies, and because of all the like human, like not even just human being, animals basically are created as tribal creations or tribal, I don't know, species
Creatures,
or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah. And we have managed, because of how advanced we have managed to alienate every single human being. Like, there's a lot of stuff I want to learn now that usually I'll just go and meet my friend or someone who knows. I'll be like, hey, please, can you tell me how to do this? And he'll teach me. We'll spend like one afternoon together. We'll laugh, some bonding experience, all of that nonsense. I can spend 1 hour on YouTube and get all of that. So I feel there's a lot of mental illness that's being unaddressed. A lot of personality disorders are being addressed. So basically, the long story short is, I feel like a lot of people, like, Court is the biggest album I've done. Basically, it got nominated.
Let's get to Court, right? What was the motivation behind Court? And would you say you've been happy about the reception of that project?
The motivation behind Court. First of all, yeah, happy with the reception. It could be bigger, but I'm very happy because I think it got the mindset I was trying to achieve. The motivation behind Cult was basically to make us feel proud about being Nigerian. Like I used to, as a kid, I used to feel kind of insecure about being Nigerian. I changed my name from Iboro to Kile because it was more American. It would sound better in a Hollywood movie. But the idea of Cult was to kind of recreate a more positive identity for being Nigerian.
So why did you name it something that in Nigeria is it leads the wrong perception? It sets the wrong precedence, for example.
Well, two reasons come to the top of my mind. One, for the shock value, and two, because there are two types of people in Nigeria. People who will be interested to see something called Cult, and people who will back away. And I made it for the people who will be interested to see something called Cult. It's mostly young people who would see something called Cult and want to tune into it. Yeah.
So how do you deal with stress and anxiety?
I can't say it on the radio.
Okay.
Wow.
So
I can't lie. I say I pray, I meditate. I also meditate, and that's it. But also.
So what was the creative direction? Because on Cult it seemed like you had a lot of tribal influences, at least visually. But sonically, what were you trying to lean on?
To sound as soulfully African as I could sound without losing the essence of myself. Yeah, like I found out that there was a lot of soulful African samples from like the 70s and 80s, and it wasn't just like boom bap. It wasn't just like trap, or it was more about the soul of it. Yeah, with tons of African,
Okay.
Yeah.
So your more recent project, Flat 14 Part 2, with Sean Stan.
Yeah.
So obviously there are two Flat 14s. What's your relationship like with Sean, and what does Flat 14 mean to you?
Sean is my friend. I've known him for a long time. He's a superb engineer, one of the best in Lagos. And I've known him for I think almost 5-6 years. The Flat 14 is this place where we record in Surulere. It's somebody's house actually, but like it's almost like a commune type of thing. Yeah. So it's kind of been like a safe haven a lot of times.
I was gonna say that's like your safe space.
Yeah,
right?
it's almost like a safe. So like, yeah, that's the music is like songs for worship at the altar, basically. Yeah.
All right.
Well, shout out to Sean Stan.
Shout out Sean Stan.
And Flat 14.
Yeah.
Payback.
What's
Do you
good?
think that hip hop does enough to uphold the representation of women, particularly in the music? And how do you think the culture can embrace more women MCs?
That's a lot. I don't think the culture in general or the culture in Nigeria.
The culture in Nigeria, since this is where we are.
Honestly, I don't think there's going to be any thing that's done to embrace women more, anything done to uplift women more. The only single thing that can be done is for more women to drop more stuff.
Right.
First of all, who says there's an underrepresentation of women in this thing?
No, when I mean the representation of women, I mean more things of how women might be depicted in the music.
Oh, you're
kind
talking
of
about
language used in the music and things of that nature.
You're talking about derogatory terms
and derogatory terms and general, perspectives that men might have in their music.
Does it matter if the women perpetrate those stereotypes by themselves also?
It matters, but there is something to be said about when this is the prevalent or might seem to be the prevalent notion.
Do you know the problem with this conversation?
What?
It's not straightforward.
Oh, it is. For example, if a man
says,
says, if the prevalent notion of women is that for example, they're disloyal or they are only there for the money.
Half of women are disloyal. At least half of them.
So you would think
Come on.
At least half of, because half of men are disloyal also.
So why is
half
it
of
not?
us are
So why is it
disloyal now.
not half of them also being talking about women that are loyal, for example?
Those songs exist now. Those songs exist all over the. You guys just go and pick the trap songs.
No, but the phrasing I used was prevalent.
Prevalent. It's not their fault that the people who make the songs uplift women don't get popular now. Those songs all over the internet, all the social conscious. You're my black queen. No, but you guys don't. People don't listen to that one. But when they start to sing about some WAPs, that's people love that. It's not the main. The truth is that sex, violence, derogatory stuff sells way more than that nice stuff. It's just like men make music about being good and righteous men and following the conscious path and all of that stuff. But the music that sells more is cash app. It's just we like the evil stuff more.
All right, so this kind of brings me to my next question, right? Do you think hip hop is all about the appearance and sort of the representation, right? Like you expect hip hop people or people that do hip hop to appear a certain way, be a certain way?
I don't think so. I think there's an expectation for that, but I think enough people have broken that mold that it doesn't really matter if you know what you're doing. I think there are lots of people who don't look like rappers who rap very well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Andre 3000 is walking around America playing the flute on the road. He's one of the best rappers in the world. So.
Right. I think the world is evolving, right?
Yeah.
The world is evolving. And, just to kind of like cap things, right? You've paid your
No
dues. Yeah. Come on.
Was right
right? Right. So you've paid your dues, right? And right now, you're aiming at the throne.
Yeah.
How do you think you would achieve this?
I just keeping my foot on their necks. Just keeping my foot on their necks. Just like there's a popular saying.
Who they breed?
Exactly. This is like we are in sync. We are in sync. This is exactly what I wanted to bring up. By the popular Nigerian poet Davido.
It shook.
It shook.
Well, it's been amazing having you on the show,
Likewise, man.
Payback.
Likewise,
Payback. It's
man.
been
Likewise,
amazing.
man.
I think your mind is amazing. I think,
I think so too.
and we've taken a
It's
deep
one
dive.
I say this in all honesty. I think that you're one of the most brilliant minds I've ever encountered, and I've been humbled to have that little peek hole into your career and see how you've evolved over the years. Truly excited to see what you bring next.
Let's go. West African Goat. That's the name of the next album. West African Goat. We're coming for everything. It's over. Like it's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
Of
Yeah.
course, you
done.
also have a record with Barzini, I think, out. It's out.
Yeah, I have we dropped. He's doing this thing where he's dropping a song every month just to,
Shake his
That's-
face.
yeah.
I don't think people really understand how hard this
That
is
stuff
to
is
dro-
very hard,
to
bro.
drop a song every
Very,
month.
and it's taxing on your brain and your
brain. That's a lot. That's a lot.
But
But I-
Payback, it's been a pleasure and an honor having you
Likewise,
on the
man.
cruiser.
Amazing stuff.
Likewise.
Amazing.
Likewise. Y'all didn't see it, but we just bumped face. Man.
Go see on the YouTube video.
Yeah,
Alright,
absolutely. It comes
alright,
out. We'll be
let's
out.
go.
We'll be out by
Let's
next
go.
week.
We out
Friday.
here, man. All right.
Thank you, Payback.
Thank you so much.
All right.